I'm Mike Tucker, the General Executive Director of the Independent Office Products and Furniture Dealers Association, IOPFDA for long or short. This morning, I'm joined with Rick Marlette. He's the General Manager of OPSoftware. Welcome, Rick.
Thanks, Mike. Good to be with you.
Well, good to have you. And we're going to talk about a very timely subject, a touchy subject this morning, and that has to do with all the price changes and price increases that we're having in the industry and ways that people can deal with them. What I'd like to start off with, Rick, I think you would agree, as would anybody else on this interview this morning, that pricing has become a real problem in our industry. You want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, Mike, it's always been a problem. I mean, I've been doing this since the late 1990s, and independents are always way too cheap. Now that's just been, brought to the forefront with all the inflation that's going on. So now it's become a serious problem, and it's eroding margin for a lot of these independent dealers. But they've always been too cheap. This is the problem. They always go too cheap because they feel like that's the way they have to be to get the business. And of course, some people, will allow their salespeople to price every single customer differently. And while that does differentiate you, what it also does, it limits your growth. You can't grow under that situation. You're spending way too much time maintaining this. So it's always been a problem, and it's really becoming a huge problem right now with all the inflation.
Rick, historically, how have most dealers priced their products?
Well, I mean, we go back in time to when they were giving discounts off of an imaginary price. And I call that an imaginary price because someone made this price up. It's called list price, MSRP, whatever. And I will give you 50% off all my products every single day because I can make up the price, okay? So it's really useless, and Amazon got hit really hard for it for using this list price. Okay, so they've taken it off their site pretty much. But then there's cost plus. A lot of dealers will use, resellers will use cost plus. And cost plus is also missing the mark because you're either giving away margin or you're pricing yourself out of other items. And so this also doesn't work very well. And then of course there's what I like to refer to as from the hip pricing, where they're just pulling it out of the air, thinking, well, I'm going to get this product, I'm going to get this customer by just giving them a really low ball price. So that's,
yeah, as a former salesman, I can relate to that from the hip price.
Yeah,
it used to work back in the day.
Oh, absolutely.
So how does this pricing compare with how the big retailers are doing it now, like Office Depot and Amazon, etc.?
Well, I'm sure you've heard that, data's king. Okay, data drives everything, right? So these big guys, or the nationals, they have the data. So everything about their pricing is all driven off the data. So they will do loss leaders. And this is something that independents struggle to realize sometimes, is they will sell items below their cost. And I hear this over and over from independents will tell me, oh, I need to get a better cost because my competition is selling below my cost. Well, it's also below their cost. They don't get that. They're making it up elsewhere. So they know what items they can price at a premium. So, and that's what the game is all about, is make yourself look cheap, but maximize your margins. And they're very, very good at doing that.
So data is key, and isn't providing data something that you've been doing for years? I know you've been helping IOPFDA with some Amazon data, and we're very appreciative of that, but let's talk a little bit about that.
Right. I mean, I started in the late 1990s when Staples first came on the scene and had a website, right? They were one of the first ones that had a nice website. Well, they were using their own product numbers, and that bothered everyone. They could not figure out, how am I going to relate to a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They're using 6-digit numbers. I need the manufacturer number if I'm going to be able to compete and provide the same product to my customer. So that's where we started. So we did the cross-reference, and we were pushing that out to independent dealers. Well, now today, we do 32 different sources, and we're getting pricing, we're getting cross references, and it's across the entire channel. It's not just office products, it's Jansan, it's MRO, it's food service, it's everything. And because those lines have blurred now, everybody's selling everything. So we're having to go out to many more sites and do much more data gathering.
Understood. So you've referred to this type of new pricing that you recommend as dynamic pricing. You want to explain a little bit how that works?
Well, yeah, dynamic just means changing with the market conditions. Okay, it's not fixed, it's not stale, it's not, something that doesn't change. So anytime if the Grainger or Zorro, which is a division of Grainger, raises their price, you should be raising your price. They're doing it for a reason. And usually that reason is they are anticipating even manufacturer price changes. And they get that information much faster than independents do sometimes. So that's what dynamic means. It means constantly changing, and it follows the proven strategy of the nationals. These national players, they're still in business, right? And they're doing well. I mean, their GPs are high. So why would you try to do anything different? It just doesn't make any sense to me. And here's the thing, Mike, the independents that listen to us and follow this, their margins always increase. I've never had a customer whose margin didn't increase, and some of them by as much as 10%. So it's
wow,
it's a win.
That's a big number these days.
That's a big number, yeah. And of course, inflation is driving that too.
Yeah. Well, now with the product, the data that you provide, is this something that'll work on most dealers' computer systems that they're using in our industry?
Yeah,
and
I mean,
in the Jansan industry for that matter as well.
Right. I mean, it works with pretty much any system out there because we create our pricing files in Excel and CSV format. So all the systems, even the homegrown, the Shopify, the ones that you can do yourself, okay? All these systems can import these files and create pricing for the system, okay? Now, we do have some that we're integrated with automatically, but again, any system that can import Excel or CSV files can make this happen. We can push this out, every day if we need to.
Okay, great. Well, Rick, if any of our listeners want to get in touch with you and learn more about this dynamic pricing and how they can potentially increase their margins 10%, where should they go? How can they get hold of you?
Well, very easy. Just email sales, SALES, at OPSoftware.com. Or you can call me directly. My direct number is 678-381-8085. And I usually will always answer the phone if I'm here or not on the phone with someone else. So give me a call, send me an email.
Well, great. Well, Rick, thank you very much for your time today. I think this is hopefully a topic that many of our listeners will take advantage of. And I appreciate it and look forward to seeing you at an industry event again sometime soon.